Hi, I'm Rob Geisthardt, the president of Tora. Tora is the Thompson Okanagan Rugby Alliance. We are the regional team for the whole Thompson Okanagan.
So how long have you been, you're the president, how long have you been doing this?
I think this is my third year.
Okay. How do you get wrapped up with Tora?
Well, as a rugby player growing up and decided to give back a little bit, had a little bit extra time, and I was voted in to be president about 3 years ago. I started coaching a little bit at the Crows, their U14 team. I did one Tora team at their U14 team, and then I moved up. I've coached U19 through Dunbar Keg, U17 I coached last year. This year I'm kind of bouncing around, but doing more of the U15s.
Nice. Now tell me this, here we had some games against Fraser Valley. What do you see in the boys? What do we think we need to dial in with for the U14 or U15s?
Well, I think the U15s, it was a good awakener for them. A lot of kids have played majority of sevens here, so to move up to 15s was a bit of a stretch for a few. But I think it's a good experience for them, and they were surprised, I think, by the size of some of the players off the valley, and just the way that 15s is a little bit more of a chess match. There's a little bit more going on than just strictly the speed game of sevens. So what do we need to work on? We just need to work on coming together a little bit more, realizing what things we need to do to set up other phases to try to score off. It's not just get the ball to the fast guy and have him run around the wing. You know, we have to set up through multiple phases in order to get the overlaps to try to get score and try to get meters.
Nice. Now what about the U17s there?
The U17s are a strong team. We had a strong team last year there, and I'm looking forward to a lot of the players that we had last year, now seniors for that team. Their front row is, I think, spectacular. They're tight five. They got two great second rows. I think they're lacking a little bit of experience in the backs, but I think that'll come through. We picked up some players from the Kootenays, and I look forward to their first game is against Vancouver, a team they haven't played in I don't know how long, many years. So it'll be a good test for them because Vancouver did finish first last year.
Nice. Okay. Well, what about the U19s?
U19s are studs. They're coming off hot. They made it to the final last year. Got beat by a very stacked Vancouver team, which had a whackload of Canada U20 players on it. The U19s this year are strong. They've really built on what they had last year with their coaches. And I'm expecting at least finals for them. They played Fraser Valley on the weekend, missing 13 players, predominantly starters, and they seem to come across a pretty evenly matched game. So super excited for them this tournament. It'll be awesome.
Now, I did notice you got some pretty good coaches coming to visit us here.
Yeah, like for me, it's all about trying to give these kids different views, different aspects of development. So the problem with players in the Okanagan is they don't have easy access to the coaches that they have on the coast, the national players that they have on the coast that are always seem to be out and about and around the practices. So I've been trying to bring up a few more of those coaches up here, and we have had a few good coaches. We had our the Don Ennis Memorial High Performance Camp. We had two Rugby Hall of Famers, World Rugby Hall of Famers in that group. There was all sorts of 3 Canada Rugby Hall of Famers, some fantastic coaching. We had Steph Veal from Rugby Canada, Doug Tate from BC Coaching and UVic. It just was a stellar group, and everyone at that weekend camp was just blown away with the amount of coaching and development they were able to get through the camps that we're providing for these young kids.
Now tell me this, so for all the parents and stuff that are out there and they're kind of on the fence or don't know much about rugby, what do you think the benefits are for that?
Well, it's interesting because the pathway to BC and Canada has to go through Tora. So basically, you have your exposure at high school, you have your exposure at club, being at Kamloops, being at Kelowna, being at Vernon. They have junior programs. But after that, the exposure that Tora gives you, that's where the BC coaches are looking. We do a regional tournament every year, and in that regional tournament, that's when the BC coaches are around looking for looking for players to feed their BC teams. There's the U15 is a Build a Bear program. U17 is a full BC team. U19 is a full BC team. The U19s, after the provincial regional championships, the PRCs, they go on to the CRCs, the Canadian Regional Championships, at which point there then Canada coaches can then look at all the top U19 teams, and from there they can pick a national team.
Okay, nice. Now, tell me this on a side note. Um, do you have any experience, or do you know anything for like any kids that are going in or looking for scholarships?
Well,
Are there
actually,
opportunities?
we're in believe it or not, we're in contact with a lot of coaches, be it UBC, UVic. I talked to the lady at Dartmouth at the Vancouver Sevens Invitational. We definitely have our fingers in with coaches. Coaches do call me and talk to me about certain players and what they're looking for, and I definitely talk to them and feedback to them what kind of players we have. And this is another reason to bring up other coaches from BC up to this area, just to give the boys and girls here some exposure to these BC coaches and these university coaches.
Nice. Now, speaking of young ladies there, you were doing a U14 little Tora camp, and my daughter had the chance to come and play. Now, what about for the young ladies? Because rugby's not really traditionally being a women's sport, but watching the Canadian national team and how great they are, I think it's got the opportunity to grow. Do you see that happening much in the Valley?
I think it's got a huge opportunity to grow, and I think it has grown. I just hope it hasn't reached a bit of a bubble. I know if you would have said 5 years ago, I think it was the fastest growing sport amongst women and girls. I think the Valley, Tora needs to figure something out there and try to help out in the community a little bit more. What maybe would help is if we did a grade 6 and 7 mixed touch league. When I was at a school last year, when we were looking to get some kids to play grade 8, there was a bunch of grade 6 girls that came out and wanted to play, but they were denied. I mean, I'm not a teacher. I just came in to help. But for me, that was too bad, because there should be opportunities for them to play. So to answer your question, to here in the Valley, it is imperative that we as Tora coaches here try to get into the high schools and try to get something going there. There used to be a touch league in grade 6s and 7s, and it was mixed as well. And I think it's just a good age to have mixed rugby at that time, and to have the opportunity for these girls to get a foot in, and then it'll just build up from there.
Well, I noticed with the confidence level my little girl had after that tournament.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, she went from kind of meek and mild to full of confidence. Now she takes that rugby ball everywhere with her. So I can definitely see how it would be a positive benefit there for any young lady, and to help build that confidence and self-respect. So awesome. Rob, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Go Tora.